Welcome back to Boro Walk. It's a special live edition straight after that fabulous win at Bramall Lane. Not many teams go to Sheffield United to win there. Boro have just put out a statement win. We've got Jonathan, Sean and Craig who have just been sat watching it from the comfort of their living room. Sarah, unfortunately, is somewhere in that mad away end, so she won't be on this particular episode, but shout out to Sarah. What a mad, noisy away end that sounded on TV. Hope you're all well, and Jonathan, top of the league.
Hey, exactly. How good's that? Bloody hell. And they deserve it as well. You know what? We are the best team in the championship, the best performing team. And not only my opinion, but every manager who's played against us say what a good team Middlesbrough are. And week in, week out, we show it. And you know what? It's hard to do that level of performance for 95 minutes. And we do like 60, 65 minutes. And you can see they kind of start struggling and, losing a few passes. But they still grind the result out when they need to. So it's 60 minutes of class and 30 minutes of hanging on. Love it. Great stuff. Well deserved.
Absolutely. We are coming to you live this week as promised. So thanks if you're watching this live. Do drop your opinions into the comments. We'll put some of these onto screen. Paul's already started. Paul, would share your sympathies here. You know what? My anxiety is absolutely through the roof. Absolutely. When Bamford grabbed that one. Sean, were you thinking, oh, here we go again? But this Boro side are made of sterner stuff, aren't they, than Carrick side and those that have gone before?
Absolutely. It was a little bit nervy towards the end, but, it's an away game against a team that are in really good form. I thought Boro performed so well, especially in that first half. We are fast starters and we do sort of play at a very high tempo. I thought some of the football we played in that first half was electrifying. And when we went 1-0 in front, almost like we went up another gear. We didn't retreat into our own half. We didn't panic, kept playing. It was just really brilliant match to watch.
Yeah. There's some tweets we'll get on in a second, Craig, but one of the ones I've just highlighted says that was the best 45 minutes in that first half that we've seen in many, many, many years at this football club. Do you agree?
It wasn't far off. I mean, the Hull away game and the early Kim games, that was obviously 4-0 at half time and no one expected that. And we went and we just absolutely destroyed them. And Hull were in a bit of form then as well. But I think Sheffield United were probably performing better than Hull were then. They've got more, obviously, a lot better quality players. And I was a bit nervous coming into it. I mean, their home form especially. The last 5 games, they've scored 3 goals every game.
The Bamford effect, isn't it?
And and then obviously Wilder's trying to do his tricks and he's saying Bamford's out for 2-3 weeks and then he starts. It's like Mr. Potato Head. We were class. We were unbelievable. Like Sheffield United put us under a lot of pressure. Like Sol Brynn had to make some good saves, but we just played through it. We kept our cool. We just kept on playing, and then took our chances. Yeah, just absolutely class.
Okay, we'll come on to some individual players in a minute, but no, where's she gone? No, my computer's just died. Jonathan, who impressed for you?
Well, I mean, first half, McGree, I thought was very good indeed, sensationally good. And Morris, I thought had a great first half. Melander, Hackney, to be honest. Melander, bloody hell, some of the passes he finds just out in the game, he's unbelievable. He sweeps the ball around like nobody's business. That's so impressive for a fella who's just joined the championship from the MLS. I got to say, bear in mind his first game was January, and he kind of 4 weeks ago. So super impressed. And Hackney doing his usual, marauding forward. I thought Morris was very good, but probably McGree. He just knitted everything together for that first 60 minutes. I really enjoyed him. And Brown in the second half, I thought came to the fore. But you could pick any number of them, to be honest with you. But them lads really to start with in my book.
Okay. Look who's been in touch, fellas, as well. This is. Hello, Sarah. Safe travels back up north.
Be itching to get on if you give her half a chance.
First half, better season for me. We made them look average. Yeah, got to agree with that. Sean, do you think it was the best 45 minutes of the season?
I think, as we've said already, given the opposition, probably, because the pressure's been cranked up on us a little bit all week. This has been coming. We've had to wait for everybody else to play. And the way that they played, and Craig's exactly right, they put a lot of pressure on us early. We knew they would do that, but we kept our composure and we played out really, really brave. on the ball. And then those little sequences, those little pockets, and like the lads have said, McGree and Hackney just roaming everywhere on the pitch, picking up loose balls, and it must be so difficult to defend. But I'll tell you what I thought tonight as well. I mean, in the past, I've looked at Sheffield United and I've thought, it'd be really good to have Hamer, to have O'Hare as well. Tonight, I wouldn't have swapped any of our lot for him. I thought they were excellent to a man. Like the lads have said, Malanda looks a colossus at the back. The midfield is knitting together well. Tommy Conway worked really hard. Couple of decisions, he could have been a bit better, but everyone was top form tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at some tweets then, shall we? First of all, let's get that up officially there, Craig. Nice to see. We have to thank Oxford, don't we, a little bit for it as well from Saturday.
Yeah, but you can only beat the teams in front of you. We played 31. Yeah. We've got more than them. Bollocks to him. 15 games to go. My autism's kicking in.
Give us his best 45 minutes produced for years. Yeah, keep it going. It's not over. Not over yet. Jane says, we're mint, aren't we? I've not heard that word since the late 90s. And Jack says, best half of football I've seen in a long time. Absolutely unreal. Christopher says, Malanda is just sheer class, Craig. Yeah, I mean, Sarah's not here to talk about him this week, but you'll have to fill in the gaps for her. Just how good is he? And once again, every game he plays, he's just oozes. I think he's Premier League quality.
He looks it. He does look it, doesn't he? Like, it's that thing where, is it that like new player bounce where people don't know him and he just comes in, makes a big impact and like fizzles out? But he isn't. Like every game, he's kind of still doing the same stuff. He's so strong. He's so quick. He's passing. Like he reads the game well. I mean, he did get beat a few headers tonight. But we kind of played so cavalier tonight as well. Like, Ayling was, like, sprinting forward. Like, the man's 34 years of age. And he's, like, sprinting forward when we're 2-0 up and stuff. You're thinking, just calm down. But Malanda was just like, it's fine, I'll cover. Like, he does look, I mean, £6 million for us in our current, like, financial state and everything's a lot of money, really, for a signing. But he looks a snip.
Yeah, absolutely. Loving these comments coming in as well. Boro fan 7063 says, yeah, this club's enough to give a grey hair. Lucky you've had them over decades. Cheers, Jonathan. I'm sure can sympathise. Gary says, nice work last year, Sky Blues, but this is the day the party ended. Sad for the fans. Yeah, Everton fans. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks so much, Gary. Right, Jonathan, should we talk about Riley McGree a little bit more then, please? Do you remember when he was injured and Boro fans had a bit of a go at him and saying, well, not a go at him, but saying, oh, well, it's not that good anyway, he's going to miss. Some Boro fans eating their words tonight.
Yeah, I get the frustration because I think last season and then the season before, you're getting 10 games out of him out of 46, and those 10 games, you can see how good he is, and then he gets crocked. So I get their frustration, but I think majority of people say the same. When he plays and when he's fit, he's class. And he showed it again tonight, and as simple as that. So he doesn't lose his class. He pops up in the pockets. His awareness, his spatial awareness. He has a slightly different eye to perhaps what the normal Championship player does. He creates different situations, different spaces. So frustration is just because he's not played as many games as we'd love him to. I think it's got to be that, and that Riley McGree must be just as frustrated as anybody else, but. And they managed him again today, didn't they? Was he 60-odd minutes? They brought Gilbert on and took McGree off. And that's all about protecting the player. And it tells you how good he is because, they could have paid his contract off. They could have, took him out the 25-man squad because of his injuries, but they haven't. They've stuck by him. And that tells you everything about what the club think about him.
Yeah.
I think it adds to the frustration a little bit, though, because over the past few years when he's been injured, it seems that he's kind of then made an appearance for the Australia team, doesn't it? So
not having that, Craig. Not having that. That's statistically not proven, pal. So that rumour came out, but someone did the stats on it, and it's bollocks.
But it was like he wouldn't play for us for 10 games, and then all of a sudden he'd get called up.
Yeah, it's there as well. Boro fan exactly predicted your point there, Craig. Yeah, it's more that he went to play for his country than not playing for months. Yeah. You having any of that?
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, he must have been fit to go, but it was just that thing of like when it just seemed like that. That was the perception that we got, really. But he is a different gravy. Definitely.
It was definitely an emotional thing because I get it when he pops up for Australia, having not played for Boro. You're like, well, what the hell's this? But then when you look at the stats of when he missed Australia, you'll see he missed an awful lot of Australia stuff too. So it was just timing. He was fit for Australia for a period of time, and they happened to have a few games. So perception was, he just fit for them. It wasn't that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Loved his celebrations as well today. Yeah. No, not having that Riley. Of course she's not. Of course. Feel your ears burning there, Jonathan. I think as well. Thanks very much.
She shouldn't mean me. She means the person who's saying Riley only plays for Australia. Yeah. She's Riley's number one fan.
We know. I got told off last week for suggesting anything like that. Tom says, yeah, King Kim, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We can't talk about Hellberg every week on here, but we feel we should. Boro says, I'd have a pair of his crown jewel holders. Great. Yeah, right, Sean, can we talk about Sol Brynn for a second, please, if that's all right? Save from Sol Brynn, by the way. Yeah, cheers, Sam, for that one as well. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. When we talk about the best goalkeepers in the league, I feel like we don't put Brynn in that. We don't put Brynn in that conversation, do we? We talk about Stokes goalkeeper. We might talk about Cooper as well. But is he in that conversation?
I don't think he is, but I'm just content with the strength of character, because I was one of them. Come the end of the window, I was a bit like, should we have signed a better caliber keeper to keep him on his toes? Because in the last game against Norwich, I know it was only one instance, but he sort of went back, he got caught in no man's land, and it could have very easily been an equaliser but for Dale Fry's intervention. And I just wondered if a goal like that was to go in. He's still relatively young for a keeper. Would his confidence dip? And who have we got to bring in if he has a little bit of a spell? But really good performance tonight. He's still learning on the job, I think. I don't mind if he's not in that chat of being the best keeper in the division, as long as he keeps getting better. His shot stopping was good today, I thought, something that he sometimes gets picked up on because he's a big keeper and he comes in claims pretty well and stuff like that. Sometimes it's shots that get through and people are a little bit critical, but he made some really key saves tonight, I think. So yeah, played really well.
I think the Stoke game was a pretty good sign, in the sense of he made the mistake and let their goal in. We went a goal down, but then I can't remember how many minutes later, then he made a worldie of a save to I don't know whether it's to stop us going 2-0 down or whatever it was. It was a critical moment. So he came back from that. So you're right, he's got a mistake in him, but not that many mistakes. And he's definitely made more good stuff than he has bad stuff by a long way, I think, from what I've seen.
Yeah, cheers for Boro fans back on again. Cheers. This one, Sol's going to his business really well for young lad. Absolutely agree with that. Right then, Craig, is this happening then? You've been here, is it 9 years or 10 years in the Championship this season? Somebody will tell us. But you've had some nearly misses, you've had some close runs, but does this feel, with the team that you watch and you're there in the grounds, does this feel different to those times when you've nearly got second or nearly got sixth? Does it feel like there's an energy that just can't be stopped at the moment? That's how it comes across to me as a neutral.
Do you know what? It does. It's similar to Carrick's first season, that I feel like personally, because he took over like November time. We went on the run and we didn't. I think if the season had carried on going, or if he took over in if he had the full season, I think we probably would have went up automatically that season. But he took over like November. We had a great run. We were playing some brilliant football. He had the big squad of, and there was a lot of loan signings as well. But obviously, like Akpom was banging in goals for fun, and we were playing good stuff. But this squad just seems so together, and it's our squad as well. It's not like made up of loan signings. Well, I know obviously we've got like Brown and Target, but they're like experienced pros. It's not like kind of they're just coming in quickly. Like, they perform so well, and the football we're playing, the seem just so together. The work, and it's working well. Like tonight, we kind of like Sean's already said with the goal. We weren't bothered about how Sheffield United were playing. We were just playing how we play, and we just went through them. Like Whittaker and McGree were coming in behind Tommy Conway with Hackney and Morris, and you had like 5 players playing right centrally in front of their penalty area. And you're thinking, like, how would you do this? And they just play through teams. And then you've got the width as well with Britton and Target, who bomb forward. It's like, it's got that different feeling that we can do it. The thing for me, I don't know if we're going to go on to it, but obviously Hackney staying was huge. And I think a lot relies on Tommy Conway. Now, I think the way he plays it's instrumental. Like, he kind of conducts the press and how we go forward. I think he's kind of like pivotal to how we're going to play.
Yeah. We'll talk about in a minute why there's not so much love for Coventry and yet there's loads of love for Boro. And I don't know if you've seen online, all the fans are coming out for Boro and saying, look, we want Boro to take this. I want to get your view on why that is the case in a second, and let us know in the comments as to why you can explain the absolute dislike for Coventry and the love for Boro. Kieran says that was a championship winning performance. No doubt in my mind, Jonathan. If we turn up like that every single week, we go up. Get the F in there. Get the F in there, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, having known you, that you are, one of the more pessimistic fans, but you're the more reserved ones that go, hold on, calm down, let's just see what happens next week. But you're getting excited, aren't you? You are going to the Premier League. You're going to have a big party at Everton. And we can all meet up for a beer next season.
Yeah. Craig Spawn, it feels different. I'll tell you for why is that, and the reason fans are pessimistic, because, we've had one season in the Prem since 2009, right? And that season was a bag of shite, wasn't the Karanka, yeah? So, and it's all the hope, you get the new manager bounce, so your hope was with Southgate, didn't work out, then Strachan didn't work out, then Mowbray didn't work out, Karanka, brilliant, and then had a lot of crap season. Then you had Monk, then you had Pulis, then you had Woodgate, Warnock, Wilder, even Carrick, disappointed in the end, Whereas this fella here, the belief comes from the quality and the difference that I see in the quality. And this isn't big headed. I expected us to win tonight because of the quality we've shown. And even though Sheffield United are in good form, we're a better quality team than they are, and in fact than the other teams in the Championship. So I always feel confident that we'll win. And that's the difference. Whereas, this time last year when we were doing this podcast, we were like, oh, Christ, not again. We've lost 1-0. We've another stupid goal's gone in sort of thing. Bloody hell. Whereas now, even if we lose a game now, okay, it's not good for the points. I feel we'll bounce back. And I think them 4 games that we didn't win over the Christmas period, they showed to me to say, look, we won 4, didn't win 4. Then now we come back and was it 6? Is that 6 on the trot now, isn't it? Yeah, it's 6, isn't it? Yeah. It just demonstrates the belief in the team. So I reckon even if we have a little blip of a couple of games, we'll still come back firing. Unlike Coventry, who seem a bit one-dimensional and don't seem to be able to do that now, And but I think we will, and that gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Last week we were talking, Sean, to a Hammarby fan, of course, on here. It was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't watched that, do go back and have a look at your conversation with him. And one of the things he pointed out was the fact that Hammarby, the number 9, didn't get that many goals. Actually, it was all the teams around him. But yeah, Conway's already banging you in. We thought we might see a parallel here, but another goal for Conway tonight. Has that surprised you, given what we heard last week?
No, we talk about his work a lot, and I don't want to reiterate about the fact that he gets through so much work, because obviously he does, and we keep saying that. But his quality on the ball as well. He drew fouls at the right time. He's really good with his ball, with the ball at his feet. He brings other players in. Technically, he's very good, and I think that's underrated sometimes. But Craig's right. He triggers the press for the others, and he's very infectious as well. A character like that in the 11 that keeps morale up, keeps Gene, his fellow players along. And again, just a word on what Jonathan was saying. How good is Hellberg that we wax lyrical so much, and the praise that we lavish upon him. When he came in, we were second. So imagine getting all this praise when he's come into a team that was already up there. Just to put into context the job that he's done to take us on to another level when we were already competing at the top end. I mean, brilliant. The pressure of a club and stepping up. It all points to really good signs for Boro, I think.
Yeah. I'd say if you're a neutral watching that tonight, because there wasn't no more any other games on tonight. It was just us.
No, it's great.
It's going to be a people tonight. Yeah, sorry. There's a ton of people tonight watching Boro for the first time and watching Hellberg football, and they'll have been mega impressed to see that. That's Hellberg's more on the map tonight than he's been previous. Obviously, us Boro fans have known about it in the Championship, but to a wider audience, he's been seen now. And and the TV lot, they said the same. They were super impressed with the way we were playing, and rightly so.
And to think he could have been managing Swansea at the weekend as well, couldn't he? That really happened. Let's catch up on some messages we've had in the chat. Thank you so much, all of you who are watching. Great to have your company this evening. If you're wondering where Sarah is, and some people have asked that, Sarah is probably on a coach on her way back from Bramall Lane. So safe journey back.
The people are wondering where Sarah is, what it is, she sat next to them and telling them, do us a favour, type in there, where's Sarah,
Thomas.
Sarah's podcast, we're just the groupies.
That's right. Thomas is a Hammerby fan. Thanks, Thomas. Great to have. We've got a good link between Hammerby now, isn't it? We must arrange a pre-season Premier League friendly against Hammerby. I'm surprised it isn't more teams that have parked the bus. I'm guessing it's going to come. I think that's probably a good point, isn't it? So, given how this Boro team play, you are going to see a lot more probably low blocks coming against you, Craig, aren't you? Certainly, if I was managing the team against you right now, I'd be parking 10 behind the ball.
Yeah, do you know what though? But I mean, you can get that, but it's getting to the business end of the season, and teams need to win. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got teams near the bottom who need 3 points, so they can't kind of risk just like, look, we'll just keep men behind the ball and hopefully get a point against the top. I know we're not top scorers in the league, but over the last, 13 games now? 14 games? We are. So they can't, and other teams around the playoffs, they can't just sit back and kind of think, because they need to win as well.
Yeah, didn't they say Oxford parked the bus against Cov on Saturday and Cov couldn't find a way through? Yeah. But you know what? The other way around, I don't fear that if someone parking the bus against us in the way we play, I think we'll still find a way through and find a way to score. That wouldn't concern me as much. It concerned me last season a lot under Carrick. We struggled like hell to get through a low block, but under Hellberg, I think we'd find a way. I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah. Vodka makes a really good point. Don't forget Hellberg. We have absolutely everything to Wolves. You're absolutely right, aren't you? If it wasn't for Wolves, where would you guys be? Thank you so much, Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah. It's strange. It's like Sean said, isn't it? We were second and we get rid of a manager and we actually do even better. It's a paradox, really, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah, Pyro says the counter press in the first half was unreal. Big up to Conway for forcing Sheffield into making mistakes and risky passes. Yeah, absolutely. This is an interesting one for you, Sean. Conway should have put Hackney in. It's a little worrying. Yeah, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree to an extent. Obviously, Hackney was there to be put in, but as a striker, you want him to have the confidence to take on a shot at goal. You know, it's worrying once he starts not wanting to take them on because his confidence is gone. But he was full of it. He'd already scored. I'm all right with that. You know, we won the game, and we don't need to talk anymore about it.
Yeah. And this one highlights man management, which we haven't spoken about before, Craig. 6 games on the spin, win after win, Conway firing. Just shows, Craig, what an arm around the shoulder can do for some people. Buzzing. Yeah, we mentioned this last week about his man management skills, just how good he is about just bringing those players who maybe have dipped in form and just, putting their arm around the shoulder and, telling them just how good they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's done it with he's given almost everybody an opportunity. I mean, look at Gilbert. Gilbert didn't get a sniff of first team action, and he started him the first couple of games. Hamilton, he's give Hamilton an opportunity. He's give Naipan an opportunity before he left. Conway, fans were on his back, and he just said, "No, he's my first name on the team sheet. He is why I fell in love with football. A player like him. Imagine hearing that if your manager You'd run through a brick wall through one. I mean, Conway does anyway, but you'd feel 10 feet tall, and then from that, he scored 4 goals in a fortnight. So, it goes to show.
Right, let's have a look at some of what the other fans are saying about Boro. First of all, apparently Sarah's on the ales again. Says Boro 7063. Well, she's entitled to be top of the league. Absolutely. Enjoy it. Right then. So we had this in from an Oxford fan who said, as an Oxford fan, please can you rip the title out of Coventry's hands for us? Hull fan Ben says, can't even deny it. You look absolutely effing unreal. And there's so much love for Boro. Don't know if you've seen much of this. And I can't say whether it's because Boro is such an inoffensive side, which you are. Always generally trying to play good football, or there is such an absolute genuine dislike for Coventry, whether that's Lampard or whether it's the high ticket prices that they put out, or just some of the, and they'll say it themselves, with their annoying fans on Twitter. What do you put it down to, Jonathan? That there is such an anti-Coventry vibe and such a love for Boro?
Well, I don't know. I guess there's a couple of things, really. Well, interesting. A couple of things, really. I guess one, we play better football and more. So if you watched us tonight as a neutral, you're going to be enjoying watching Boro play. So you've got that. So we play good football. So that's always going to be a winner. So people are always going to get attached to that. And I'm not sure. Based on what I hear about Coventry, I've not seen too much, but they ain't playing particularly good football at the minute, and they're a hard team to watch. So I guess there's that element to it, but. It's interesting. Sarah was saying she was in London this week. She met some Sunderland fans, and they've got a massive beef with Coventry as well, which I never knew about. So it does seem quite prevalent. And I'd have to, Mark, I'd have to. I'll come back to you on that one, because I don't actually know. Apart from, they're a bit annoying for us because we've got this rivalry to them. But why the rest of it hate them and love us? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know what the other lads think.
Well, I mean, last year when Leeds were wobbling, of course, everyone was having a go at Leeds, but it seems every fan base has some sort of issue. I don't know why. I mean, Millwall, we spoke to Millwall fans earlier, obviously got no love for Lampard, of course, as well. Oxford fans didn't like them. Hull fans don't like them. There's only, I think, Chelsea fans who want them to do well because that Lampard. It's a strange one for me. Someone's put in the comments, if you've ever been to Coventry, Mark, you'd understand. Harsh. Sean, any ideas? I mean, it's great. It's great for Boro, but I mean, it all sets up nicely for next week, of course, as well. Do you get it?
Maybe a bit of, like you were saying, the big name syndrome with Lampard. People like to see big names fall, don't they, a little bit? And I think maybe as well, I must admit, I didn't really look, to be fair, but I didn't see much. But maybe when they were way in front, people like an underdog, and it felt a little bit like everyone was saying Coventry, the walk in the league, and maybe there was a little bit of naivety or a bit too comfy because they were wiping teams away. But it does seem that there's a tactical naivety about them where they've just thought they'll score more than the opposition, even go away from home and just be wide open, thinking that they're just going to win 4-3 or 5-2 or whatever. And I think some of the Coventry fans are actually getting a bit fed up with the approach. And I think it's looking a bit like Lampard might be a little bit Carrick in the sense for us last year, in the sense that there's not much of a plan B. Like Jonathan said, there was a low block and Oxford got men behind the ball, and even the late red card, and they just couldn't find a way. So, I don't know the real reason, but not bothered.
Yeah, absolutely. Next Monday night, then, Craig, you head to the CBS. I mean, obviously it's going to be a fantastic game and hopefully another good advert for the Championship. But does it actually change a lot of the result? I mean, you take a draw there now, wouldn't you?
No, go there and win.
Okay.
What a goal is what a bloody want there.
Yeah, if we go there and play anything like we did tonight, we'll win. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like on the day of the game, like next week, I'll be nervous and I'll be thinking, I'll maybe take a point. But if you think of it like just black and white and look at the facts of the form, Norwich were in good form, we beat them. United were in a good form away, we beat them. Played really well as well. And I think they're on kind of like a downward. If we get an early goal, their fans get a bit frustrated, turn on them a little bit, and it plays right in plays right into our hands.
Okay. Sarah says, it's Hellberg. He's much more likeable than Lampard. Yeah, and actually people have genuinely commented that and said, his fist pumps at the end of games annoy him, and he hasn't actually been quite. I think when Preston drew with them at Deepdale, he wasn't very complimentary about the way that Preston played, even though they deserved a draw. So sometimes his after-match comments haven't always been complimentary to the opposition. Cheers for that.
He can be a bit prickly, can't he, Hellberg? Lampard, sorry. Whereas Hellberg's university, the Hammarby fan was saying that last week. He was saying that Hellberg's university just because of his manner and the way he goes about his business, and goes about his life. He's just an instantly likable chap. Lampard obviously does rub people up the wrong way.
Yeah. Cheers for this one, Brian. Boro fan for 60 years. Gosh, what did you do to deserve that? Seen us raise our hopes only to dash them, which has made me a pessimistic fan. But even Brian's starting to believe, Sean. Yeah, crikey. It's happening, isn't it? I mean, it would take a monumental fall of Boro standards for not to see you in the Premier League next season.
I think so. It just feels really good, and Craig's right. We go there and go for a win, and I think we set up pretty much the same home or away. We play to win the game of football, and we start fast, and we're very expressive team. Imagine, 5 points would be some buffer if we get that win, and it feels like when we get our noses in front, and I'm hoping, off the pitch it's the same as on the pitch when we go in front. We just feel confident. We just look really good and look like we have that ability and that know-how. And yeah, I think we're doing it.
Yeah,
I think the optimism's it's just growing, because I think when we said a few weeks ago, and I was saying I always look at being a bit obviously a bit of a dodgy Boro fan, and we've always been heartbroken and stuff in the past. But I always looked at 7th and thought, right, we need to keep just a gap to 7th, and then that grew and grew and grew. And then I was looking at Ipswich in 3rd or Hull and thinking, right, we just need to keep that gap. And now it's thinking, so can we grow again or get away from Coventry? So it's kind of like the optimism and the performances are growing hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a good one from Millet. Says so we'll move on in a minute. We've got some other bits to discuss as well. Hackney's good enough to play for Real Madrid. And Melanda, with the exception of Bamford, turning him tonight, is as solid as a rock. Yeah, with Fry at the back, back in the mix after his injury problems. All is rosy. Yeah, is Hackney good enough to play for top international teams? Jonathan, think?
He's good enough to play in the Premier League. I believe that after what we've seen this season and how he's developed and how he's come on, I have to say. So I think you'd only say a couple more goals and he'd be even not a property, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, he'll be in the Premier League next season with Boro or with somebody else. I feel pretty confident he'll be with Boro, but he'll be Premier League next season. He's good enough.
Okay.
Well, if you think we're being optimistic, my brother-in-law, and he's probably watching, he texted me during the match and said Melanda is a shoe-in to be Van Dijk's replacement, 75 million easy. So the optimism is spreading.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny that Real Madrid mentioned, though, because I know it's maybe I'm getting a bit excited here, but when I was watching the game and the way we pressed and won the ball back. What are you laughing at? I haven't even said it yet.
I thought there's a Johnny Howson comment coming, but go on.
No, I wasn't going to say about Johnny Howson. It reminded me of the way that Pep's Barcelona used to set up without the ball. So they never used to have a big tackler, a big enforcer, a big physical man. Xavi and Iniesta and Busquets used to go, and they used to huddle around the ball so that no one was putting big tackles in and smashing people. But they were getting so close, and the pressure on the ball was that big. If someone would get a little touch, someone would knock a player off balance, then the other player would pick it up and drive with it. And I was watching tonight, and just the way our midfield works, we just overcrowded them and put that much pressure.
Yeah.
And there was always another player there ready to break. And I was thinking that reminds me so much of how Barcelona in the mid-noughties kind of pressing that.
Yeah, because the work off the ball that they used to do was unreal, wasn't it, Barca?
Yeah.
Barcelona were called, I think.
Yeah. But the other thing as well is that's good working for Hellberg now is the injured lads are coming back too. So he's getting close to having a full squad to pick from, and that's massive at this time of the year because there's injuries galore normally there and everywhere, and I'm sure there'll be injuries for us at some point, but. You know what? There's less. I mean, I saw Sen was back on the bench today, for example. Yeah, so more and more players are coming back into the frame, which is great news.
Okay, Millie says, "Yeah, I'll swear he'll be glad to go in 5 years." Yeah, absolutely. And Craig, there you are. Sarah agrees with you. Absolutely, she does. Right. If you're regular viewers to this podcast, you will know that after the games review, we break off and do a little bit of fun. With some other bit of categories. Since we last spoke to you guys, the transfer window slams shut, of course, Monday at 7, just after we did our review of our previous game, so I want to get your opinions and if you can grade it. I know you perhaps haven't seen all the players to full extent, but tough. 1 to 10, Sean. 10 being couldn't have gone any better. How would you review the business that Gibson et al. Have done?
I'd say probably an 8, and I'd probably say an 8 because of Malanda, albeit we bought him in the summer, but he's sort of came and been registered and started playing in January. It probably would have been a solid 7 aside from that, because I think some of the other lads will come into their own in the future, the likes of Munro, Castledine. Sarmiento had not played much yet. And obviously we got a keeper in there thinking at the end was going out the door, but that's another story. But yeah, really solid. But I don't think we needed an awful lot. And I think most of us on here agree, you know, albeit there was a little bit of an outcry for a forward. If we keep playing the way that we're playing, I don't see the goals drying up, famous last words. But yeah, I'd give it a solid 7, 7.5, 8.
Okay. If you disagree with Sean and you think it should be higher than 7, let us know in the comments now. We'll get your name on the screen. Any higher than 7 from either of you two gentlemen?
Yeah, I'd go probably an 8.5, to be honest. Yeah, I think not that much higher.
I give you 10 numbers and you still can't pick one.
I mean, Hackney Stain was big, and I was kind of desperate for us to get a striker. But when I thought about it, I thought, you know what? I think we discussed it as well before. If we have a number 9 who stays in the box and poaches a box like a fox in the box finisher, then that takes away one of the other players, and those other players are creating so much movement and spaces and gaps and opportunity for other players that then that would take away from that pattern of play. So maybe if we had that striker who stayed in the box and didn't really run the channel, or he didn't kind of like move out and make space, then it would affect the way we play. So maybe we're better off without that kind of stick number 9. But I've got a good link though, right? So do you know Will Smith, the keeper we brought in?
Oh yeah.
So he used to play for Sheffield United, didn't he? And in 2017, Johnny Howson's got a 20-yard thunderbat straight past him, top bins. There you go, see. It's on YouTube.
You got a fucking sheet of stats with Johnny Howson on, and you just wait for your moment until you can bring one up, haven't you?
Right. So it says 8. Keane Hackney was huge. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, good. Any advances on 8, Jonathan? No, happy with 8?
I've wrote down. I had 8 as well, to be honest with you. The only thing I thought and the reason I knocked 2 off was just because I one extra attacking player, not necessarily a striker like Craig was saying, but one extra attacking player just for a bit more depth. And it just in case there's an injury curse, and there's a couple of players go out. That was the only thing, just to give us that bit more extra depth. Otherwise, it would have been 10. But I thought 8, a solid 8.
All right. Right, it is Valentine's weekend this weekend, so it's got us thinking across our network. Who was the first Boro player that you fell in love with? Think back to when you were a young child. Who was the first name that you had maybe on the back of your shirt? Maybe you had posters in your room. Maybe if you're a little bit older, you saved your Panini stickers of doubles of this particular player. Who was it for you? Let us know in the comments. We'll read some of these out in a second. But I can't come to you, Craig, on this. We'll be here, right? Should we just skip you? Mind you, especially it's the first. It's the first player you fell in love with. We get your obsession with Howson. Was there a player before him that you fell in love with?
Yeah, I mean, like he came along a bit when I was a bit older than he, so he wasn't the first. But I mean, I was like 14 years old when we signed Juninho, and just the man that he was, like he was unbelievable. He's the best player that I've ever seen live totally, like including Ronaldo, Rooney, like Beckham, Gerrard, like all of them. He was just unbelievable the way he could pick a ball up, like, and I think it made it worse because of the season that we had. It was so like emotional and I can't think of the words, but the ups and down the roller coaster that we were on, and he carried us, like, and you had other people throwing, like you had Ravanelli throwing his toys out the pram, you had Emerson who pissed off back to Brazil for like a month with his missus, but he was like, no, and he was fully in, and he loved the area, he loved the club, like he just took to, like the fans. He used to play football in the street with the kids outside his house and stuff, like on a night. And he was just amazing. And I was like, honestly, I was heartbroken when he left the first time and the second time and the third
time. On that topic, Mick's just put in there, cheers for this, Mick. Yeah, the way Hackney runs with the ball, he reminds me of Junior. Yeah, some qualities there. Yes, if you just joined us, we're talking about who's the first Boro player we fell in love with in honour of Valentine's Day. Sean, do you remember being a wee lad? Who are you?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say a wee lad because much like Craig, I loved Janino and I loved Hignett around that kind of era. But my first one, I loved Stuart Ripley, but Bernie Slaven, I think, was probably one of the first ones I really loved watching Boro. Real predator in the box. And I remember like my first year in senior school, we did like, you could do a talk on whatever you wanted. And I did one about Boro. And I had like a little stats card of Slaven and all his goals and everything. And I must have been talking about him like he was some sort of legend that had died, because one of the first questions was, when did he die? So they must have thought I was doing like a eulogy or something about him. But yeah, Bernie Slaven and Stuart Ripley, probably the early ones for me.
Okay. Some of these are coming in now. Philip says Bosko Jankovic. Yeah, it was a favourite. Fantastic. Good. Sarah's been saying Colin. Yeah, Colin Cooper for Sarah. Brilliant. Jonathan?
You know what? The player who made the first impression on me was actually the first game I went to. So my first Boro game was 82, and we played Liverpool at home. And there's a lad called Terry Cochran was down the wing, and I thought he played great that game. So he was the first one who made an impression on me. So I like that. And then similar to Sean, so the whole spirit of 86 lot, to be honest with you, you know, Ripley down the wing, Cooper as well at the back, Pallister. I'd find it hard to just pick a player out of that as opposed to the whole group. But yeah, Terry Cochran and Ripley probably in terms of just because I like the wing play and what they did then. They were, yeah, I remember those two lads. And then Cooper, but like Sarah, Cooper was my favourite though. So yeah, them.
Super. One final thing to come then. We're looking to carry on our A to Z of Boro. If you haven't come across the channel before, what we've been doing for the last, goodness knows how many weeks now, is taking each letter of the alphabet and coming up with the single best player or event for that letter and sticking it into an A to Z. We've gone from Jeremy Aliadier from A all the way now to O. Goodness me, is this a tough letter, O, or not, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's tricky.
Okay, help us out if you're watching live, please. Can you think of a Boro player with a surname O or an event? You could have an overhead kick, of course. We let you have that last week, or an offside goal, which counted anything.
Hey, I tell you what, I've got an O, right? So here, let me do this. If people are watching now, I'll do it a little quiz question, right? So there is an O, right, who played for us between 97 and 99, and he then in 1999 he went on to sign for Juventus, and I've never heard of him ever in my life, and yet he went from Boro to Juventus. So I reckon we leave that one. See if I'm curious. I don't think anyone will get it, but I'm curious.
I reckon someone will. You know.
Yeah, we can talk those while people deliver it. I think about that one. I'll get Google out.
I'm going to say there's Wikipedia now. There's over 100 people watching. Thank you so much as well for your support tonight as well. If you haven't yet, so please do so. We love making this content for you. It's usually 20 minutes going out on a Monday at 6, so watch out for that. But this is an extra special one given we've just gone top of the league. Sean, any O's?
Not many players. I think when we go on to Craig, he's going to have a shit list again, to be honest. But I have a couple of O's that are a little bit sort of non-player orientated. So obviously we've got Banica Strava when we played in major European Cup competition. That was our first fixture. And I've also got an O that a lot of other teams that have got Boro in their title have the B-O-R-O, and we obviously don't. Now, history suggests it may have been a clerical error, the missing O in our club team. So it'll be interesting to know whether that is right or whether it was a misspelling or whether it was intentional or not. So I'd say either the missing O in Middlesbrough or Banica Strava.
Okay. We're clutching a bit here, aren't we? Craig.
Do you know what I'm going to go way back. I've got Heine Otto. So he played in like the early mid 80s, and he was. I haven't got it because we're moving house, so all my Boro stuff's packed up. But I've got like an original kind of like picture of him, and it's signed and stuff. And my dad got me. It was like my first top, I suppose. I didn't even realise though, but it was like it had the badge on the arm, like the club badge. It was McLean's Homes, the sponsor, and he got that signed from Hackney Otto as well. I don't know why. Like he wasn't like, but yeah. So I always remember that, and I've kept the shirt, and I've still got the signed picture and stuff. But moving house, I seen it actually the other day when I was packing up, and I thought, oh yeah, Hackney Otto. Like, but yeah, I don't even think he's on Wikipedia.
No. I got his name down. I got to tell you, I got Paul Ocon. And I got Keith O'Neill. I remember them two lads.
Keith O'Neill, yeah.
Keith O'Neill, yeah.
Right, yeah. We've got a few more. We've got a few more in the chat here. If you want to go through them, I think Mick's got your answer, Jonathan.
Who's he
good,
got?
well done, Mick. He's got Ronnie O'Brien.
It's the right answer. Very good. Yeah, didn't play a single game for us or Juventus, but was somehow on our books for a couple of seasons, and then went to Juventus. Yeah. Well done, Mick.
Well done, Mick. We need you on this pod, Mick, when we're struggling for listeners. Can you come on next week when it's Q in a couple of weeks' time? Borough fan says Don O'Riordan. We've got O'Rourke here from Graham. There's quite a few, actually. Yeah. Sarah has matched your Paul Ocon as well. Brian,
yes.
Yeah, Brian Orrit.
Yeah, it was Anthony Ormerod as well, wasn't it? Do you remember?
Yeah, and Steve's already yeah, Anthony Ormerod, yeah, who played for Juventus as well. It's quite a few there, isn't it? Well done. I can tell you what, we need you every week. You guys in the comments, because sometimes they really struggle.
Do you want one more obscure one? An odd one. Since we were struggling, there's another fella, right? So he was actually an amateur, right? He was actually a cattle farmer, believe it or not. And he was a fantastic amateur striker back in the mid-50s. And he only played for us 3 times, but he scored twice. And then he went to play for Chelsea as an amateur, and he played in their title-winning team the very next season. There's a fella called Seamus O'Connell. And if you read about him, he did a few games at Boro. He then went to Chelsea and played for them as an amateur. Then he went back to being a cattle farmer. And yet he was one of the best amateur strikers in the country. He was back in the 50s. He was well known, but never heard of him.
Okay. Mick's just showing off now. Isaiah Osborne as well. Cheers, Mick. You win. Yeah. Thank you. Brian says, my favourite player was John Hickson. Favourite all-time Borough player. I always thought he never got the appreciation he deserved. Was Robbie Mustoe. Always gave it 110%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Robbie Mustoe quality.
We got a plea here from this user. Up the Borough, lads. I need a ticket for Coventry, please, if you can help anybody out. Get in touch. Right. We're going to leave it there for this evening. Thank you, everyone in the comments who's given that. Next week, we're on to letter P in our alphabet, which is a little bit easier. So hopefully they've got one ready for that. And P is for penalties. Next week, we're going to be talking about what's the most important penalty you've ever seen Borough take. What's been the most nervous one? And in terms of goalkeepers, who would you want as a Borough goalkeeper in the sticks to save a penalty if your life was on the line? Let us know next week and join us for that discussion. Plus, also, we're doing a live one next Monday, of course, as well, because, of course, we'll be live fresh back from the CBS. So, of course, join us for that one on Monday night at 10 o'clock. Can't wait for that one. Cheers, you three. Sarah, hopefully, I assume Sarah will be at Coventry. Of course, she will be.
I'm at Coventry as well next week. We'll have to do live from the ground or something. Oh, my
God. Right. Okay. Right. Well, if there's anybody who wants to come on next week and help run the pod, that would be amazing. Thank you so much, everyone who's watched tonight. Well done, Borough. Top of the league. I can't see this going wrong, but I'm not a Borough fan, and you are, and yet you have seen this. You've seen it all go wrong before. So let's just touch on a bit. Great performance tonight. Thank you so much for your company. Up the Borough.
Up the Borough.
Up the Borough.